Hey everybody, Jason Bermas here, live finally for WeAreChange.org. But all is still not well. We've taken a huge hit on YouTube this month alone. We've never seen numbers like this. We've constantly grown. We've given you more content. Our message certainly has not changed. And I think we were actually negative subscribers this month. Now I know they're taking down some channels. And unfortunately, there are just some topics out there that you can't even comment on anymore without being flagged. And I would be remiss to say that I did an audio test just before this. And literally before it got its first view, before I could get there to see how the audio actually sounded, it was indeed demonetized. So we need your help more than ever before we get to these stories, and believe me, they're pretty important stories and nobody in the mainstream media seems to be caring about them whatsoever. We could really use another sub, another share. Thank you all. Let's get into it. Quantum computing. I know it's a buzzword. I know a lot of you out there are familiar with the D-Wave systems that use quantum annealing. That is a dual investment, if you will, with NASA and Google. Okay, I'm very aware that you guys are aware of that. But scalable quantum computers, now apparently they don't exist yet, but MIT is talking about how we're finally in the quantum age, and this new discovery of quantum information being able to be stored for hours. Now we're talking before this discovery, and this is new, folks. This is yesterday this has been revealed. You could store it for microseconds. Now, using diamonds that have basically imperfections built within them, they've actually been able to store quantum information now for hours. And MIT says, hey, serious quantum computers are finally here. What does that mean for the rest of us? And that is a very good question, because a lot of people will tell you in this quantum age, problems that could never be solved by human beings, by obviously traditional computers, are going to be solved. And obviously cryptocurrency is kind of at the forefront of whether it will even be able to exist, or will there be post cryptocurrency, in other words, new inventions to get around quantum computing. So far, quantum computing is so out of the realm of being something that's a consumer product, although Microsoft, again, is working towards this, that we don't really know. However, when this first scalable machine goes public and people are allowed to program on it through their regular computers, you're already seeing that on very small levels with a lot of these machines. I mean, the sky could be the limit. Artificial intelligence, we don't even really know what problems they've worked out with these D-Wave systems. So far, we're talking about 50 qubit computers that are supposedly scalable. Okay, now D-Wave systems, they did 1,000 and then a 2,000 qubit computer. Now again, a lot of people are going to tell you that that's not true quantum mechanics, but who's really to say? How many quantum physicists are there out there? And since quantum mechanics in general, there's a lot of theories out there of what they are, and people don't really know what they are, it really could be anything. So that technology story, I wanted to get to it. Now we're going to get to another story that the mainstream is not touching. And this is a former Arkansas judge, okay? And I'm not going to call this guy a gentleman, because had he actually been convicted of the crimes that he had been alleged to commit, he would have done 250 years. So what was he doing? Well, this married family man judge, this Christian, this pillar of the community, well, he was trading sexual favors for young men criminals to get rid of their sentencing, find them not guilty. He was using them to make statements according to these guys. Again, he pled guilty to some of this. He was taking the sexual favors for sure. And you should read this crazy document. It's within this article, but they actually said, oh, he's failing in health. Good old boys to the end. This guy's failing in health. He shouldn't do any time. It should all be just probation for this guy. Who knows how many, forget about it. It's probably not in, like 5 or 6. It's probably not in the dozens. It's probably hundreds of victims. Hundreds of victims that this man had. I mean, if you look at the numbers, these powerful people, they're in positions. Oh, they'd never do anything wrong, Jason. Well, he got 5 years. I don't think that was enough, but the judge was just like, no, we're not just going to give this guy probation. He obviously committed these crimes because he pled guilty to them. And he's going to do some jail time, but with, that 5 years, how many is he actually going to serve? You get 5 years, you could serve, 1 to 3, maybe with good behavior. And I just hope that this man has to serve for his crimes, as I hope that this New York police officer is going to serve for his crimes. This is a 40-year-old cop, and I don't even know how they call this a 15-year-old prostitute. No, that's a child. Okay, that's a minor. And apparently he was having a relationship not only with the 15-year-old child, but and this is a cop, by the way, so he knows of this underage prostitution ring. So, he's not worried about doing his job, okay? He's not worried about protecting and serving. He's worried about partaking in illegal behavior, in immoral behavior, exploiting a 15-year-old girl sexually. But again, another guy, he's got a fiance, he's going to have a family, he's a good cop. No. A lot of these people abuse their power time and time again, and they put themselves in these positions of power so that they can continue to abuse others. It's an unfortunate reality we have to live in, and in the upper echelons, I encourage you, please, read the Podesta emails for yourself. See what great people John and Tony Podesta are, and all of their nice little friends in Media Matters and beyond. See how great they are. They're really good people, I promise you. Now, I want to end on an upbeat note. So, we are going to go to this next story. And who knows how valid it is, but we do know there's a lot of studies out there that say that cannabis can indeed terminate tumors and possibly cure cancer. And this gentleman, he's 32 years old. He is simply vaping cannabis. This is the Mirror, and again, this is a tabloid publication. I'm not going to say, hey, this is fact, but let's listen to this guy's story. We've already seen a lot of scientific evidence that cannabis in a concentrated form, THC in a concentrated form, can really have an amazing effect on cancer, on tumors. So this would be a true revelation. And go check out the story for yourself. It's an upbeat story. It gets out of the way of all these pharmaceuticals and invasive procedures. And if there's any validity to this at all, we really need to be moving towards this. And that is the facts. Folks, again, we really need your support. We need you to hit that subscribe button. We need you to share this on social media. We need your support now more than ever. I thank you all for joining me live for the very first time in a long time. And remember, Luke and I will be doing a weekly wrap-up show this Sunday. Thanks for joining me. Really appreciate it, folks.